Hello everyone, welcome to BIM Modeler channel. This is your Rajkumar, and in this tutorials we're going to watch how to create materials and how to assign the same to our project families. It is very simple tutorials. So this is a basics tutorial for materials, and we will be covering all about material and in advanced tutorials later in the following sessions. So if you are beginner in Revit, you will be able to understand what is a material and how do we create it, how do we assign to our wall or floor as ceiling elements, and later and how do we assign the same to a component family or in place families or families element that we have as a model elements. So we will be able to assign those, and we can create a real visual effect in our families. And also we have option of creating a paint tool, and we can use the paint tool while we assign the materials. How do we do it, and how do we segregate the split the element, and how do we are assigning those elements, and we are going ahead with that in this session. This is the total agenda of this tutorial. So, and if you are new to this BIM model channels, we do have a channels. You can subscribe to the channels. We are continuing tutorials on Dynamo and Revit on daily basis, and we also follow with the advanced tutorials such as duct fittings and pipe fittings. We also have tutorials on other family modeling tutorials following up in the next. So we wanted to hope this tutorial will help you, and you will be able to learn something from this tutorials. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the video with your friends. Let's say that I have a simple model over in this place. I want to create a materials. Before doing it, and these are the basic default available model families. So we have to understand how the visual works. By default, the workspace which is in graphics view, which is in hidden line, you will be able to change that into a wireframe, and you can see the edges of the walls and floors and other families element that we have. And if you are giving that hidden line, so you could not see the other side element edges, but you will be able to see the face, the direction that we are seeing it, the edges we can see it, and the element will be shown as plain hidden line. So it will be the black and white line. So when you are changing that into a shaded, so we get a full view of this material as a shaded one, not as realistic. So for example, what is the difference between shaded and realistic? You can change that into a realistic. So you can see that the material will appear as realistic. You can see the patterns of the wall. So you will be able to see the tile pattern or whatever the texture that you are applied in here, you will be able to see. But in the other wall side, you cannot see it, since realistic and shaded are both are the same material in this wall, so you cannot see it. On the other side, you can see the texture of the wall top layers top, and if you are in a shaded mode, you could not see the wall or the table uh, layers, the texture layers. You will not be able to see it. You will see only the colors. So the shader will show you only the colors, but if you are in realistic, it will show you the texture also. And the next option it is and ray tracing. Ray trace, which is nothing but a real-time render, which renders and give you the realistic view of the model that we have shown. So you can see that it is started to rendering, and you could stop it and close it. You could do all the things. It will start progressing interactive ray tracer. You could possibly rotate this view, and you will be able to change anything, the view that you needed it. So it will start to render to that view. You could turn on your shadows if you need it, and the shadows will be shown as your requirement, or you can turn it off, so as per your requirements. It depends on you, so whether you need the shadows or not. Okay, so the other thing, once it is the render it has completed, you will be able to save this file, and you could stop the rendering, because it is since it is interactive rendering, it's still progress, and it will show the realistic as much as possible. You could stop it, and you can come out of it, and once if you are done. So if you, it is a very much useful render. It will help us to see what is happening in our model, whether the textures are applied properly or not. You can check it, quick check, it can be done. So you can save the model as view 1. Okay, this will be saved in our project as rendering view 1. You could go to that view and it will be a decal by default. It is a raster image, you can see. So it will be image, you could export it or you can keep it in your project inside. Now it came out of the ray trace rendering. Let us discuss how do we create material and assign them to our floor areas. Say for example, this one floor area, we wanted to assign it. So let us discuss before to that, we want to see them in the floor plan, and if you are in floor plan, by default it will be in coarse. You have to change that into a medium to see that layers of wall and fine, so it will show other settings that related to the fine if you have any elements. You could see that these elements are having patterns that you will be able to see it clearly to understand the wall layers. Similarly, we could possibly create a material with the patterns. So that's what our aim it is. We need a pattern, a tile pattern for our floor, and we could possibly create it. And so you can select the element and you can go to the edit type, edit. You could possibly create a finish layer to this floor, or you could create the material from manage tab and later on you will be able to assign it. Let us create a new material in this dialog box. It is a material browser dialog box, and create a new material. Rename this material as floor tile, and we could create it manually ourselves. So this material, it has, you will be able to see that identify the name of the details of the material, the identity data, it is all about the data, and graphics, it is nothing but how it will appear in the shaded way view, and in realistic how it will appear. So you can possibly create it over in this place. The settings are available in this place. The next one, it is you will be able to add physical and thermal. There are two more properties, and which is physical and thermal. So we are creating it for appearance purpose. If you are up to analyzing the model, so if you are structurally analyzing it, so you can go and add it structural physical model, and it will automatically open the asset browser, which is can be accessed from this button, and you will be able to assign the physical asset, the material which is related to physical. So what is the structural stability and what will be the material quality, so you will be able to assign all those materials from here. Or you could probably assign the thermal property to analyze in HVAC perspective how much heat will be transmitted, and those settings will be assigned from here related to the thermal. So it will be have. So as of now we are discussing only the basic of settings. Appearance, still appearance we are discussing. We have created it and we could change this. So we will be possibly able to change it after assigning it. Let's say okay, we just created the material and we are editing this floor. Edit, we are inserting a new layer which is the finish layer on top of all layers, which will be say 1 inch, and we are reducing that 1 inch to the other side. Let's say okay. Now we have assigned the material, we have assigned the created the layers, but we are not created any materials to this. You can select it, and floor tile you could assign it, and before assigning it we wanted to differentiate this color to understand whether the material got changed. Let us assign this color in the shaded view. We are assigning it, not in the appearance. Let's select OK. Now we are in the hidden line. You could change that into a shaded. Now you could see that blue lines, blue filled lines are appearing, fill patterns are appearing in our model. So on the other side we can open the 3D view, and which is in realistic you could not see the blue colors over the floor. So we wanted to modify it, and instead of going to the floor we will be able to modify it in the material tab, floor tile. So we don't need it anymore. So we can change it back to the gray and apply it. We will be able to see the changes in this place, and we are started to applying it at different colors or different transparency to this materials, but we don't need it. So from Revit recent versions, we are using 2020. The 2020 versions, you could possibly assign foreground patterns and background patterns. In the earlier versions, you could not find it, the patterns that we wanted to apply it. So you will be able to assign a pattern, for example tile pattern in this case. So say like this one, or and you could probably go for a rectangle shape I'm looking for, but which could not be find it. You could probably edit this and you will be able to change it, but still let us keep this and say okay, now apply it. Now you could see that we have applied the rectangle pattern over the materials, and which is assigned with the color as a gray, which matches with concrete. So still I wanted to apply one more pattern, which is the secondary patterns, which is concrete. You could assign that pattern also to see it is a concrete tile which is applied over the our floor areas. So it is as simple it is. The cut patterns are nothing but only the patterns which shows the cut. If you make a cross section over to your floor, you could see only the cut sections like this. We don't want to see any other secondary patterns, background pattern. We just need the concrete. You can click OK, and you will be able to create the section view over in this place. Just open it, and we are in the hidden line. If I make it fine, so that we will be able to see the views clearly, and make it as shaded, and we probably are seeing it concrete patterns, which is the scale is higher. You can reduce that into small. You will be able to see it as small patterns which is appearing to the finish layers. So this is how you could create your own materials as per your requirement. So you can see that same patterns which is appearing in the 3D view also by applying the shaded view. And if you wanted to see the realistic appearance, you could probably assign it from our material browsers. Go to the browser again, and we need an appearance. We need to change this appearance. So you could probably search it in Google, and concrete blocks floor. And texture, I'm just searching it those patterns. So let us go back to the materials, to the images. If you see whatever the patterns that you feel that it needs, so you have to choose the better text, better pixel images. It is 1000 by 1000, so you could probably take it. You should not select these patterns because it is sloped. The pictures need to be as much as flat. So you could take any patterns that you needed. So but probably I'm taking this image, so let me check that it works. Yep, hope it works. And I'm saving this into my desktop, save images, and I'm saving that into our project folder, and which is basic architectural modeling. Control is not control view, and we are saving this as floor tile. And coming back to the Revit, and we could possibly assign this image in this place, and from here we can choose the floor tile, and it is not floor tile, it is supposed to be a floor tile. Just correcting the name. Okay, now if you see that the appearance will look like this one, so you could change the scene to cube or square that you wanted. So how it appears, you will be able to see it. It's still updating it. So how it will appear in the rendering, you could see it. So there are other materials settings which is available in the bottom. You can see it. It depends on the asset that you are assigning. These settings will vary only some materials will have only bump options, some materials will have only the self illuminations. It depends on the material that you are selecting from the asset library once you are saying it. So let us keep this as a simple, and this will not have any glossiness, it will have very less glossiness, and it is not metallic, not a metallic object. And let us say apply. Okay, make this into a realistic object. Now you could see that the tiles are created very much clearly. So you need to change this style properties so that to change it as bigger. So you can go back to the same appearance. You could select this element. Once if you are selecting, it will open this texture editor window. You can probably change their scale by 2 by 2, 2 feet by 2 feet. Apply, and if you see that the material got updated with a 2 feet by 2 feet scale size. So this is how you could probably assign your material, and we can discuss about these materials one by one, these settings one by one later on. So how it appears and how we have to change these settings one by one later on in the advanced tutorial, that will be more helpful. So for you to understand what is bump, the bump, it is nothing but it will ask you to select a texture. So you could probably, it is a grayscale, you can probably assign this. So you must have a grayscale. Based on your grayscale images, so it will make a bump, so it will make a bump or depth to your material you have assigned. So it depends on the value that you have. So you can probably go nearby the rendering, you can go and do a render, you will be able to see a depth to your tile ending edges because of these lines. Also you will be able to see the small dots, you could probably see the small bump over to that place also. So this is how you can control your bump of an object. If you are creating a light bulb, you can assign the self illumination so that it will be glow. So we don't have require any transparency on reflectivity this material. So let us say okay and close it. So we need one more options that we like to have a design which is over in this place, a square boxes or maybe a frame over in this place. Let's say we create an extrude element in a model in place model category. So component model in place, and it will be the generic model. Okay, and say generic model 1, enter. So you need to set the work plane, pick a plane. Okay, and we can select the wall face like this, it will highlight and select it, and we'll be able to go to the extrusion and create your own model shapes that you wanted to create and finish it. And I like to have it something like this, and to the front view copy the same element, copy multiple copy of the same, I like to keep it this far, and I will make it a small differentiation, the thickness of this edges, so that we can differentiate all these elements. So we wanted to keep some materials over to this element, so we can assign those material by selecting the elements, and you could probably select those elements and you can probably assign the parameter to this, and like this, and say this will be square material, and this will be instance material. Say okay, and this two also will have the same material like this, and you can assign the material over to the property this place, rename it square material face, and we have to assign this as a metal face paint. So it is easy that to you are copying from the asset library. So you can copy it from the asset library by clicking this button, and we can go for the appearance library of Autodesk material, and we could probably create paint something which really matches our requirement. Okay, so we can take this one, or blue glossy. So let's, as I mentioned earlier, it depends on the the material that we are assigning. The appearance settings will vary. Wall paint and tint, you have only these options. You could not have any other settings. It depends on the asset. You will have the settings, and it is gloss and roller. Let's let it be as blue one, and we'll be able to assign that into our model. Say okay. Now these elements are having blue color, so we don't want to have the blue color in all the faces. I like to have different colors onto the over to the faces. So how do we assign the face material? Instead of assigning it to all the faces, the all other sides will be blue and the front face will be in a different color. This is how the paint tool comes handy. You can take the paint tool and you will be able to remove that, and you can go and you could assign soft wood to the face, and you will be able to assign steel material, and you could probably assign any other material that you wanted to assign. Yellow, for example, this red carpet material. So like this, you could probably assign the colors that you needed by using the paint method, and you will be able to do finish of the in place component family so that it will remains as a single family, and you will be having the instance parameters square material phase over in this place, so that you'll be able to control it in the project. So this is as simple it is. So we are just learning how to create the material by using asset browser, and how do we assign that using by using the paint tool option. The same paint tool options can be used in our war finish option. For example, this wood, and you can assign it like this. So it isn't realistic. You can go back to the shaded. So whatever the settings related to the shaders that we have, so it will be applied to our wall and other furnitures that we have. So this is how the whole process of creating a material and modifying it works. It is a basic tutorials. For more tutorials on the same for advanced things, so we are coming up with advanced tutorials later on. So first of now, you can leave your comments below so that I understand that whether you need more, or you need this is enough for you to learn it, start with Revit projects. So thank you. That's it for today's this tutorials. If you like the tutorials, you can share with your other friends and give a like, and that will help me to understand so whether you like it or not. So hope this helps. Thank you so much. See you on the next tutorials. Thank you. Bye.